everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you a super low calorie, low net carb almond cookie. This is mildly sweet and really delicious. It's such a nice treat. If you're craving something sweet, you're on a keto diet, you're doing something low carb, but you're still trying to keep low calorie, this is gonna be the perfect recipe for you. So let's jump right in and get started. First thing we're gonna do is I have some melted butter here. Of course, as you guys already know, all of my ingredients, all of my measurements are in my description below. So head down there to get all the information that you need in order to bake this. No need to take notes, nothing like that. And of course, anything that I use as well in my videos, all of it is linked in my Amazon links down below in the description as well. So first thing we're gonna do is add some unsalted melted butter. And this is like warm to the touch. It's not hot. You don't want it to be boiling. Pour that into a large bowl. And I'm gonna do a mix of 2 different sugars for this. So we're gonna be using a monkfruit sweetener. You can also use like a stevia sweetener, but I personally think that monkfruit, when it bakes most similarly to like a regular sugar. So I'm gonna be using a granulated monkfruit sweetener. And I'm also gonna be using a stevia brown sugar substitute. So you can either do all completely monk fruit for this if you want. You can use all stevia that's granulated for this if you want. You do not need to use the brown sugar substitute if you cannot find it. It's kind of hard to find sometimes, but I'll have a link from Amazon if you're interested in purchasing this as well. And I'm just going to add that to my bowl. And the reason I like to do a mix of the brown sugar and the regular granulated is because the brown sugar just has a nice little, addition of the molasses. I think it gives such a nice taste to the cookies or anything that I bake. You guys have seen me bake it in my previous recipes, so that's my recommendation. Mix the 2 for this recipe. And the next thing I'm going to add is I have some vanilla extract and maple extract. You can also use almond extract instead of the maple, so I'll include that in the ingredients below. You can choose either one for this, but I'm adding my vanilla and maple. That's my preference. And then I'm gonna add 1 egg as well. And what we're gonna do is we are just going to combine this all together. You don't need a hand mixer for this. We wanna be kind of gentle with this recipe, so we're just gonna use a whisk. And just mix it until everything is fully combined. This is a super easy recipe. And this is kind of one of my go-tos if I'm looking for something that's not too sweet, but I do want, I'm really craving a cookie or something like that. This is perfect for that. All right, so that is fully combined. Next thing I'm going to do is I am gonna add my dry ingredients. So first thing we're gonna add is we're gonna add some salt. This is just some regular sea salt. Then I'm going to add some baking soda. And this is going to kind of fluff up the cookies rather than using baking powder. So baking soda, not baking powder. And then lastly, we're going to add in our bleached almond flour. So I'm gonna add that to my bowl. You can also use almond meal, although I prefer the almond flour. I think it's just a little bit finer. And mix that all together. I'm gonna set my whisk aside and let's switch to a spatula and just keep mixing all this together. Fold it all together until it's completely combined. Now that my cookie dough is completely prepared, what you're gonna do next is you are going to scoop out the cookie and we're gonna put it into some of the monk fruit granulated sweetener to coat it, and then put it on a sheet pan that is lined with parchment paper. Now my oven is preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and let that preheat while you're working on forming the cookies. You can either do this with a cookie scoop or you can just use a, like a tablespoon if you have that. but we want about a tablespoon size of the cookie. So I have a scoop here. I'm just going to throw it into a little bowl that I have with monk fruit sweetener. Completely coat the cookie with that granulated sweetener, and then throw it onto your sheet pan. And you're gonna do that for all of the cookies. So let's keep doing that. Now the shape of these cookies doesn't have to be perfect. If you wanna scoop it and form it into a perfect ball, you can, but you completely do not need to do that. When they're baking, they will flatten and form into a circle. That's why I just like to do it with a cookie scoop, so that all of my cookies are going to be the same size. When you're done with your cookies, they should look like this on your sheet pan. Now, the reason I ended up needing two is because you don't want to overcrowd the pan. You want the cookies to be able to form into a perfect circle. So that's why I just spread it out on two pans. It just depends how big your pan is. Just make sure that, like I said, they're not touching each other and that there's plenty of room for the cookie to expand. Now, my oven is preheated. Let's go ahead and throw these cookies in the oven. We're gonna throw them in for 11 to 15 minutes. Check at about 11 and see if you need the full 15. You want them to be slightly golden brown. And I will see you guys at the very end. Our cookies are ready. What I'm gonna do next, I'm just gonna put them on a cooling rack and let them cool for a couple of minutes, because right now the cookies are super fragile. So they're gonna break if you try to eat them too soon. Let them set just a couple of minutes. And here are our finished cookies. They are keto friendly, under 100 calories per cookie, super low in net carb, and absolutely delicious. They're also moderate in fat. They're not too high in fat. The best part about these, take a look at this. They are so buttery and flaky and just like absolutely delicious. Cheers, guys. That is so delicious. Super, like, it's like buttery, but not too buttery, not too fatty, really light. Play around with the sugar. Some people like it a little sweeter. Some people like this less sweet. You can also, like I said, if you just use the monk fruit granulated monk fruit sweetener and not the brown sugar substitute, it'll be a little bit less sweet. So that might be your preference. Just play around with the recipe. Just make sure that the quantity of the sugar in total is the same. I absolutely love these cookies because they're so soft on the inside, nice and crispy on the outside. I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.